Tony brings out the big guns in a new release from Beast Kingdom. Here's your look at the Beast Kingdom. This is the Avengers Age of Ultron Hulkbuster Egg Attack action figure. The product code for his oversized Iron Man is EAA-100. He features interchangeable repulsor blasts, interchangeable hands, and light up LED lights. Ooh, now that is a big Iron Man. But just how big is this big boy? Well, we'll find out in a second. I'm going to take the tape measure and put it right to the very top of his head. While I do this, I'd like to also send out a big thank you to the folks over at Beast Kingdom for making this review possible. If I'm reading this right, the towering Hulkbuster from Avengers Age of Ultron stands at a very impressive 8.6 inches in height. And centimeters, that stands at 21.8, so almost 22 centimeters tall. And I know measurements are hard to put in perspective. Size comparisons always work a little bit better. So we'll bring in some of the other Egg Attack action figures that we had a look at up to this point. Bringing your attention over here. This is the Avengers Endgame Egg Attack action Ronin. Not a bad figure, not a bad figure. And here was also the Endgame version, the Egg Attack action version of Black Widow. But probably the one comparison that you guys would want to see above all else is probably the comparison with this guy here. This is the Avengers Infinity War Iron Man. And though they don't all share the same screen space, the ones on either side are from Endgame, the one in the middle is from Infinity War, and the one even predating all of them is from Age of Ultron. It definitely does give you a good perspective of just how big the Hulkbuster, Egg Attack Action Hulkbuster, actually is. Next, we'll have a look at the figure's accessories. One thing you'll probably notice is absent here, happens also to be absent from the packaging, and that is a clear display stand. I think in a case like this, for his size and stature, I really don't think he actually needs a stand. Just so that you guys can see the sizing of that though, this is the Iron Man Mark 50 stand. It's literally about the size of one of his feet, so it really wouldn't have made any sense whatsoever to include a standard sized stand. I guess the next logical question could have certainly been that Beast Kingdom could have included a larger stand, double the size. I really don't even think it's necessary. For a character of this size, he stands fine. He has firmly planted feet, very large, flat, boat-sized feet that causes the figure no difficulty whatsoever standing. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second. So stands are sort of cut from the mix, but what he does include is a moderate amount of accessories. It would have been nice to see him with those paddling jackhammer hands that he used for the Hulk. He doesn't come included with those, but instead what he does come included with is some repulsor blasts. Currently for these hands, they don't serve any purpose whatsoever until we introduce some brand new hands. I'll show you guys those in a second. Now these ones are done in a translucent orange plastic. I want to also mention the fact that these are a softer plastic, which does make a lot more sense. They're a lot less jeopardized by the idea of breaking these, as there's a whole lot more give to them. And these attach into these hands right here. He comes with a pair of flat hands with a total of 6 hands total. These will just attach in place like so. It looks much more impressive, believe you me, when we start adding the lights. Yeah, there are lights also on the hands of the Hulkbuster, but he does come with a pair of flat palms, perfectly designed for holding the repulsor blast. And also, of course, if he's going to be battling the very sick, not sick in the sense mentally, but I guess sort of sick mentally from Scarlet Witch, the tainted Hulk, of course he's going to be wanting to tussle with the Hulk with some grabbing and gripping hands, and he does come included with those as well. Just in case you are wondering, yes, the holes are the exact same size, and most definitely you can add the repulsor blast shots from those also as well. So you can use them for either one of those hands. The hands themselves are very nice and sort of tarnished in the way that there's some kind of dusting over of debris. You can see a little bit of kind of a more tarnished black that's been airbrushed sort of on the fingertips, kind of again looking like he's in the midst of battle with the Hulk. So those are the other accessories. The other thing he also comes included with, these side panels of his armor. You can swap those out with ones that actually have these lifted up. And you can see that they're basically the exact same way. Don't worry, I'll show you guys how that all comes about. They're attached in the exact same fashion as just ball joints, ball sockets. And then, like I said, those will just attach on either side. I think before we kind of get into all of that, the one thing I really want to show you guys is the light up options on this figure. The one thing, of course, I won't show you just yet is the hands, but believe you me, we'll get into that also in a second as well. So picking up this figure, one thing you'll immediately notice if you grab this one for yourself is he does have some weight. An alarming weight if you're so used to the regular weight of standard Beast Kingdom Egg Attack action figures. This one, out of the box, definitely feels a little bit heavier. He doesn't feel like he actually has any die cast. I feel like there might be some die cast maybe in his torso, but the rest of his body feels like it might be just comprised of plastic. The head sculpt is the oversized version of Iron Man's suit, but if you take the helmet off, you actually get treated to a smaller Iron Man inside. This is sort of one thing where the proportions don't quite match, because if you bring in the regular Egg Attack Iron Man, yeah, the proportions are a little bit smaller, head-wise at least, certainly a little bit smaller. But I'm okay with that, because in a way that the other Iron Man for the Egg Attack figures were kind of over-proportioned, larger heads, smaller bodies. Sort of the scale comparing of this guy to the other Iron Man. This one does have a smaller proportion even still, a smaller head sculpt. You can see there's the head sculpt there of Iron Man. Looking very, very cool. I like that. And neat the fact also that you could take the helmet off. The inside here is not quite a soft plastic, but they definitely put a little bit of extra cushioning in there so that when you do fit it over his head, you're not going to run the risk of scratching the surface. Like I feel as I'm putting this on, I'm not going to cause damage to the paint that they so very carefully put on Iron Man's head here. Get a gander though at that scratched on silver that they managed to put onto the side of Iron Man's under helmet. Not to mention, of course, all that silver that they put on top of the main body as well. Everywhere you look on this figure, there's all these little scratchings and imperfections. Obviously, as the longer the fight goes with the Hulk, the more the paint and surface of the metal is going to get tarnished, scratched, and dented. And you can really start seeing a lot of that happening here. So let's talk a little bit about the light up options. As I said, he has a fair bit. He's got an arc reactor that lights up, the head lights up, the hands light up, which we'll change out in a second, and he also had lights up down below, light up options down below. So to activate all of that, say we want to get access to this part and this part here, just going to take the back of his armor and just flip that up. It doesn't seem like it tabs in place. These are supposed to be magnetized, but I think what ended up has happened is the magnet plates have come free. I think there's supposed to be ones right here. As a result of that, it sort of just slots in place, but it doesn't sit securely in place. The batteries are located on the back, but luckily the batteries are already installed when you pick up this piece for yourself. So all that we really need to do is hit the switch it on like that, and you get a bright light up of LED lights on the back of the body. And if you spin it around, you also have a very bright arc reactor on the front of the body, along with the light up eyes here. Mind you, the effect looks a lot better if you put the larger head over top, and you can see that it still manages to project that light straight through. If we want to light up the legs right here have switches on the fronts. I want to note that I'm happy that all the switches are accessible. I don't have to worry about taking panels off. Other than really just taking this panel off, everything else is very accessible. The arm switches are on either side. Some people are a little bit bothered perhaps by the fact that the switches are so visible. I'm happy that they're actually accessible, and again, I don't have to start taking things off to get access to them. So for the legs, we just move the feet sort of out of the way, and the access switch is right there. Switch that on. I'm going to point that away from you so it's not brightly shining in your face. You can see how bright that actually projects. We'll do the exact same on the other leg here as well. Just like that. And not only does it light the front lights, but it also lights that light and that light on the inside of the leg as well. We spin it around, you also get a couple of bright lights projected from the back of the leg. Look how bright these actually do light up. And he doesn't have any light ups or anything on the undersides of his feet. Next, we'll get working on the arms, so we'll just go ahead and pop those off the ball joints. You just want to wiggle them off very carefully. There we go. There's one of them. And you can go ahead and take the hand off as well. Find the suitable hand that you want to go with. I'm going to go with this one right here. And we can just attach it in place. Now the light up is right here. You'll see that the little section of clear peeks out from the bottom, the end of the ball joint, and that's going to be your light source. Attach the hand that you want to add to place. There we go. And then we can go ahead and replace it. I just want to show you the difference between the two. There's the flat one, and there's the one that's got that front section that's been lifted up. I guess it would be best to show you guys from this side here. So we're going to go ahead and attach this right here. I guess in theory you could really have used just the flat pad as well. You don't have to use the raised one. But we're just going to attach it into place nonetheless. I'm going to bring this up, and we're going to go ahead and attach the repulsor blast right to his hand. And then once you've got that all in place, there's the light switch located on the side of his forearm. And we can light that up. There we go. The thing about it, though, is it doesn't project the brightest of light. By contrast to the rest of the body, if you can hopefully see it there, it does light up. But like I said, it doesn't light up very brightly. You'll know right away that it is lit up, though. There's the small light. The problem is with it is because it is such a small light in comparison to everything else, like I said, it has to travel through that hand. And again, like you could go this hand instead, which might work maybe just a little bit easier. Let me just pop this off and show you guys. Just pop that off. This one is not going to be working as much against itself because it doesn't have to travel on an angle. Let's go with this hand instead. So we're going to attach the repulsor blast hands, which has a more direct source of light. There we go. And we'll go ahead and just add that back into place. Much brighter, definitely indeed. And again, you can do that on both sides. The idea that it has as much light up options as it does, when you think of the regular egg attack action Iron Man that really only had the repulsor blast, the arc reactor, I should say, and then the light up eyes. The fact that the Hulkbuster has it in both his hands, the chest, the legs, the head, and then of course all the other areas. Again, we'll just do a quick turnaround so you guys can see all the areas that are actually light up on this, or lit up on this. It's really quite incredible that they were able to put so many lights as they actually did. For the figure's articulation, the head rotates back and forth, essentially because it's cupped so securely against the head. When it rotates its head, it's essentially rotating Iron Man's smaller head underneath, if that makes any sense. Again, if I just put this in place, there we go. Again, when you are rotating it, you're rotating both heads in the process. So this serves as just a helmet over top of that. The arms hinge out quite considerably, actually. Not quite at a 90-degree angle, mind you, but just a little short of that, maybe like a 75-degree or 80-degree angle. As this moves up as well, you'll have this section that also is a ratcheted joint on his shoulders that sort of doesn't get in the way to start off with. But I mean, if you are displaying it, you can kind of ratchet up the shoulder pads to kind of fill in the sections that would be sort of missed by the fact that you can see a larger socket joint attaching the forearms to the torso. As for the arms are on a hinge joint. Get a load of all the details that you can see actually on the hinges as you rotate them back and forth. You can sort of see the individual pistons all working there in a nice exquisite silver. The forearm also does rotate, but it rotates up here, and it rotates actually on that band of gold. And his individual hands also rotate back and forth. I guess in a way you could think that this section here is also a bit of poseability. I'll certainly agree with you on that. These hinge back and forth, and they also hinge up and down, being again that they attach via a ball joint. Hulkbuster has a good ball joint in its torso. You can rotate it back and forth. You can hinge it up and down. And it has sort of the issue that the other Iron Man had, because there isn't any fabric covering over this. Open seams or open areas in which the ball joints work, you can kind of see a little bit more of a gap. So you might find yourself keeping the articulation only more limited to keeping it lower. You don't want to maybe tilt it further up because you'll see a bit more of that gap. Then for his legs are a little bit more limited. I mean, for hinging them out, that's about all that you can really do with them. You can also move the legs forward, you can move the legs back. He has a little bit of a swivel where that thigh connects itself to the ball joint. He has a ratcheted joint on the legs. And then for the feet, get a gander at these. Not only are they neatly sculpted, designed feet, but they also have quite a bit of articulation to them as well. They hinge back and forth. You can move them up and down. And then on the back section, these are actually also independently ball jointed. So you can move those back and forth. And you can also move the foot, the toe section here, up and down as well, right there. It's not much. It's not as much, say, as the other figures, but he does still have toe articulation, which is pretty neat. Even though it came to no surprise, heck, the trailer itself gave away that we were going to be getting ourselves a Hulkbuster Iron Man. You gotta admit, we all still freaked out in theaters when we first saw Tony suit up in the Hulkbuster to take on the spellcast sickened Hulk. The battle didn't last very long, but Tony did hold his own. Luckily, he had backups on the ready, so when Hulk ripped off a limb, he had another one available. It was neat to see the Hulkbuster Iron Man actually living and breathing, so to speak, on a live-action screen. Having this now as the Beast Kingdom release as the Egg Attack action figure, you probably already know my feelings towards it. One of my favorite things that Egg Attack action figure line covers is the Iron Man suits, the Mark suits. The idea of getting a larger, massive version of the Hulkbuster, trimmed down and scaled down in the super deformed proportions that you would know and love with Egg Attack action figures, is just a dream come true. I didn't realize he had as much light up options as he does, and the fact that all the points, all the light up switches are fully accessible, well done, Beast Kingdom. I can't tell you how frustrated I've been in the past, getting a collectible of Iron Man that has light up options, and having to remove so many panels to get access to so many light switches. The only thing that you really have to remove in order to access a light switch is the section right above, right behind his helmet. That just simply lifts off and you hit the switch. Everything else is accessible. Some people may be turned off the idea that the switches are accessible and visible on the suit, but it doesn't really bother me. They're small enough that you barely spot them. The fact that you can also remove this particular Iron Man suit to reveal, at least his helmet you can reveal, a smaller helmet underneath, is a nice little touch. Could it have had an opened up cockpit? Sure, of course. But then you're starting to work around electronics, the light up option. I'm just glad that we have a light up option. I can completely dismiss the idea that we never got a cockpit that opens up. What a neat looking figure. Well done again, Beast Kingdom, for giving not only the cool Iron Man that we normally get with the Beast Kingdom Egg Attack action releases, but we also got ourselves a Hulkbuster. This is clearly and easily one of my favorite pieces that the Beast Kingdom line have produced under the Egg Attack action line. You sort of get the benefit and all the love and joy that comes with the super deformed pieces, but as a Hulkbuster. How cool is that? If you guys are interested in picking this one up for yourself, as far as I know, it should be circulating now in comic book stores and online places. This one, again, a big thank you to the folks over at Beast Kingdom who were nice enough to send this my way. What do you guys think of the new Productoad EAA 100, the Egg Attack Action Hulkbuster Iron Man from Avengers Age of Ultron? What a cool looking piece. Any Iron Man fan would definitely be wanting to add this one to their collection. If you guys want to go back and have a look at some of my other Egg Attack action figure reviews, or specifically Beast Kingdom, there's a playlist just for that. If you are new to this channel and want to check out more of this guy's content, thank you for that. You can hit that subscribe button down below and make it your point as well to turn on that bell notification so that when future videos are coming onto this channel, you won't be missing out. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.